and good afternoon. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Cindy Novotny. And I've got a little bit of information that I'd like to share with you about Cindy. She's the founder of Master Connection Associates, which is a premier international consulting and training firm specializing in service, sales, and leadership. Hospitality Sales and Marketing International awarded Cindy a Lifetime Achievement Award, congratulations, in hospitality for her contribution to the industry. Cindy is also in the final stages of her second book, My Secret to Stamina, and that's due for release in late 2020. So hopefully that's really soon, Cindy, so that I can go get it. So I'm going to pass it over to Cindy and enjoy.
All right. Well, I'm so excited to be with you in our dialogue den. And although we ask you to mute yourself at certain times, definitely put in the chat box or go like this. And Kim Pung from my team, you can see her right here. She is going to be watching that because we only have 30 minutes to discuss what I think is really important. And I think getting, the dialogue dens are about, let's have some dialogue. I do believe that Dr. Robin Hanley Defoe this morning at the opening session really made things very clear about what we have to do, in order to move on in everything we've gone forward. And to give all of you just a bit of background, I run a training and development company that specializes in hospitality, but only 60% is hospitality and 40% is corporate. So we do sales, leadership, and guest service or client service training. And we have all been on the road, Kim included, since May 1. I'm up at Nemacolin Resort in Pennsylvania right now. I'm based in Southern California, but we've been on the road since May. We've been throughout all of the US working with our hotel clients and our automotive and law firms. So we've been all over the place and in Mexico and Turks and Caicos. Not Canada. We can't go there yet. Although I grew up in Northern Michigan, so Canada is near and dear to my heart. I always believed I was a little bit Canadian because when you're up by the UP, you just we're not quite sure how Michigan got the UP. How come it didn't really go to Minnesota or Wisconsin or, somebody or Canada? But as Brenda said, I have a new book coming out. I am trying to, we thought I'd have a lot more time to work on it. It might be early 2021, but I wrote a book called Living with No Balance and Loving It. And that goes against all wisdom, all conventional wisdom of, no, you actually do need to have balance. But I think what you need is like integration, and I call it work-life integration. I took my daughter on the road ever since she was born. She traveled 1 week a month with me all over the world. So when she was, 9 and 10 years old, she was seeing the pyramids in Cairo. When Kim had her children and they were young, they traveled as well when we traveled. So it wasn't about balance because we weren't at home pouring the Cheerios in a bowl, but we were, on the road doing it. So when I look at managing life, I have to say that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. And so when COVID hit, I've flown literally over 10 million miles, and that is no exaggeration. I have been given global service for life on United, and I know for a fact that life is continuing to happen when I'm up in the air. But in today's world, I can be connected to it at the same time. And I think what really is important to recognize is that you and I deal with so many different things that occasionally, and I think Dr. Robin made this point, you can't go into a dark space for the whole day. You have to be able to pull yourself up and you have to get on with it. And when life shifts, it shifts in many different ways. When people say we're all in the same storm, my answer is, okay, we are, because this is the first time in our lifetime that the entire world shut down for what I call renovation, and we're all going to be opening up about the same time. It hit all of us in different ways. I own a restaurant in Southern California, a USDA prime steakhouse. We were sold out for the last 5 years, 7 nights a week, top 100 US on Travel and Leisure and in Open Table. And to be closed down immediately at the end of March for 3 weeks while we did not pivot, because pivot, I can't get my head around pivot. We adapted and we created a takeout window that literally changed our business model for the better. And when I say that, we actually never have had Easter Sunday be open. Passover, we've always been closed on those types of holidays. But because so many people were having so many issues with bringing family together, we did takeout. We made more profit on Easter with takeout than we made with the restaurant with the sold out 4 seatings on New Year's Eve in 2019. So although it hit us hard, I do know there is a different way to look at it. So I want to give some ideas, and then I do want you to talk, because I don't feel that 30 minutes of me just going on about, what we need to do to kind of when life shifts. So some ideas to get started in our dialogue, Den. I do think you have to go easy on yourself. I was in Dubai when this all happened. I landed back. I went from Dubai to London. I have a 10-year visa for China in my passport. In London, I got off the plane. We didn't even make it to customs when any of us that had that sort of information in our passport were taken aside. And it was that moment I realized, wow, this is actually for real. I thought it was like, I've been in China during H1N1, swine flu, bird flu. I mean, I was in Rio during the Olympics, during Zika virus. I said, holy cow. I mean, it's like the flu. But what I was hearing was what I call lizard brain, the thing that adapts, the lizard change colors and all this. I am the perfectionist on lizard brain. I constantly make a point of switching myself to go, oh, well, it'll be fine. My family will tell you that there are times, even in our personal life, they literally say, no, it won't be fine, Cindy, and quit saying it'll be fine. Because I'm one of those that the glass isn't just half full, it's always full. So it's okay to acknowledge your fear. It's okay to have conversations with people to say, like, what are we going to do? What happened to our business? This is about the 190th webinar I've been on since March 16th, along with Kim. And I can assure you, we are doing sales training. We are working with GMs. We are doing client service. We are just giving of ourselves to say, you can't anymore be dark. You got to face the music. You got to get up and you've got to put one foot in front of the other. You also have to take a moment to breathe. And I'm not good at that either, because I go so fast that I tend to just let the negative go over here or let my fear go over here. Now we do have to say, okay, it's all right. I mean, for me to be able to say, it's okay if I don't have any calls for the rest of the afternoon, I might just sit down on the couch, read a book, and have a cup of tea at 4 p.m. I would never have done that. I would have, even though I'm working from my home during this point, I would have been like, I shouldn't be doing that. I'm cheating. I've got to get back. I've got to go work at the desk and I'm cheating. Have faith, not fear, or let me go to celebrate change in many ways, little ways. I have learned, our money went away. We now are back working a little, but I kept our corporate team working. So as an owner of a business and an owner of a restaurant, you're the one that takes the biggest hit. And that's what it is. That's called life. That's why you have your own business. Get ready. But I've learned to celebrate in little ways, like the Rocky Mountain. I know this sounds really funny, but the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory is one of my favorite places at the Denver airport. And they've been shut down until last week. I flew back from Santa Barbara to Pittsburgh through Denver. And I'm walking to change my plane. And I went, they're open. Okay, now I can't go buy a new pair of boots and I can't buy a new sweater, but I knew I could afford a caramel apple, and it's fall. And I grew up in the Midwest and it's so fun. I walked right in there. I'll have a caramel apple with the peanuts, please. I mean, I had them cut it, and I sat on the plane eating my caramel apple, and the flight attendants were even jealous. They were like, they opened? I go, yes. So it's the little things that you have to do right now just to give you some excitement. Have faith, not fear. Again, I'm a very spiritual person. I have a lot of faith. It doesn't really matter if you are or you're not. I do believe, though, you have to look into yourself and you have to say, you know what, there's bigger stuff going on. I mean, look at right now, another hurricane is hitting New Orleans. I live in Orange County, California. From my house, you can see the flames that are surrounding Orange County right now. It's like, are you kidding? Then they said there's going to be a meteorite hit. I'm like, wow, can the election get over and we just get on with it? Because I can't take one more minute. The other thing is life is not over, my friends. It just threw us for a loop and we will all survive. This will come to an end at some point, and I'm not sure when it is going to come to an end, but I'm a firm believer it is going to come sooner than later. And so what you have to do during this time is really rewrite your life plan. It's really about stepping back and saying, was I really doing what I love doing? Was I actually spending enough time? You know, people said, oh, the one thing this gave us was more time with our family. Well, Kim has a high schooler, a college kid, and then a young daughter. For her, it did. They all were home. But my daughter's 32. She's married. She lives in Texas. I already spent time with my husband. I was like, enough time already. You know what I mean? Like, you know, get up, have your breakfast together, have your lunch, working from home. And we both work in the same company. I mean, the moment May 1 came and I got on a plane, I was like, I'm back. And it didn't mean that I didn't appreciate them, but I've always appreciated them. I don't get to see my parents. They're 86 years old. I want to spend time with them. But because I'm out and about, although I'm COVID tested twice a week, I wanted to make sure that I don't put them at risk. So now many people have changed their course, and it's okay. I've changed our course in some of the business models that we're going to do. But my last one, and I think my most important, is to be proactive and not go dark. The more you are involved on webinars, learning a new language, reaching out to your clients, which when we do our training and our sales training, I'm telling everybody, reach out. When people say, well, I don't know if it's very respectful. Yes, it is. How are you doing? What's going on? How can I help you? It is very respectful to be able to reach out and talk. Going dark is going to do no one any good, because when we all reopen, they're going to forget your name. So I would like to now, and I'll just make this a little bigger. I would like, you know, Deb, I've been looking at you smiling and giving nods. You know, can you just unmute and share with the group that's on here just a few ideas you have or some things you've done as life continued to shift? Can you unmute? There you go. All right.
Here I am. Thank you. Well, I'm a freelance writer, and I'm used to working from home to begin with. So I can't say that the adjustments have been vast for me. And I've also been a caregiver to my mother through the years. So I'm coming from a different perspective, what freedom means. And
Exactly.
time, I'm very used to spending time with myself. I'm very comfortable with that. In fact, I'm too comfortable and I need to spread out more and engage. So I'm just strategizing around that. What makes the most sense and where can I put the energies to be effective? And I'm very much on your wavelength with have faith, not fear. That's very much how I operate. So I'm in that mode most of the time. So I would wonder, I don't know if this is the right time, but I noticed you had said with your sales training, I'm wondering if you're changing the language and how you're coaching, because what was once maybe practical and logical for the situation is not any longer in the sense of how we're communicating. And just wondering how your sales training environment has shifted for you and your clients.
Very good point. So a couple things, Deb. First, I find it pretty ironic. I picked the one person who said, I'm working on getting comfortable coming out and doing more. And I chose you first. Now, you know why? Because I was looking at you from the beginning. When you got on, you were turning the camera. And as I'm talking, I was looking right at you and your smile was very robust. And I saw you engaging and nodding the head. So one of the things, and I'm going to answer your question about the sales training, but I want to just comment on a few things that you just said. One is a freelance writer. Okay. Oftentimes during times like this, we have to reposition ourselves to find more, I call them gigs, right? Because you're a freelance, you got to find more gigs. your ability to engage, even being on this, even stepping into a dialogue den and having and really the confidence to say, you know, I work from home anyway. And I can tell you, I get you in many ways, because although I'm very out there, I travel alone. I never have room service though, because I actually have to have the presence of people, but I'm all by myself and I go down to the restaurant and no one that works for me gets this, because they go, oh my gosh, I'll just sit and have room service. I need people, but I wasn't always that way. And I think as you look at your adapting and your changing as we go forward, you're going to put yourself out there into different ways that'll give you the ability to find new business. Because as a freelance writer, I'm sensing you have to probably find some business. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And some of the clients have shut down, travel related clients, and they're just not in the position that they once were to have ongoing communications put
Right.
together.
So now I'm going to give the sales training answer, and I'm going to
Sure.
give you some ideas and tips. First and foremost, you would be perfectly poised to run a few, you know, your own Zoom webinars, reaching out to your current clients that might have used you in the past that are not using you right now because they're not talking about travel. People should be talking about travel. There should be huge articles written about travel. And one of the things we know in travel, 3 things happen. One is anticipation. 2 is the actual event, whether it's a corporate event like this or it's a leisure event, you know, going on holiday, the actual event. But the 3rd and the most important is the memories. And this is where you could actually put yourself out there and say, I'm going to do a 30-minute, 1-hour webinar on how to reposition your business, whoever you are writing for, to bring out the life of the stories of what we did. It might even be bringing alive some of the things you already wrote and putting a different twist on them. But sometimes you have to be the one to teach them, because one of the things in travel and in the hotel industry is that I've never seen people in my life, and I am a hotelier. I have been doing this since my entire life. I've never seen more people go dark and shut down. Like, oh, that's it. We're never going to be able to have business. No one's going to come. We're never. And I'm like, wow. So the green, when we listen to the speaker and the cook and that, I can't wait to go to Prince Edward Island and go to that, you know, beautiful place. And I love Canada. When I say that genuinely, when you grew up in Northern Michigan, you love Canada. You know, the idea is that wide open spaces. So for you, what we're doing in sales training is teaching people to do exactly that, to get on these Zoom now. Well, this isn't Zoom, but you know what I mean. Zoom now is become very, very common and people are used to it. So to be able to say, even if you did it just one client at a time at the beginning, if you thought, I don't want to go too broad, if you did it one client at a time and said, let's brainstorm together, but you do it looking at each other, which is what we're teaching our salespeople to do, you will not believe the engagement that you get from these current customers that aren't doing anything, but more importantly, some of the new ones you'll find.
That's great, Cindy.
Yeah, just
I find, like you're saying, some fell to their knees and they needed to be lifted up now.
Yes.
Because
and I
they need to see. Yeah.
Yes. And you're a storyteller, Deb. You are a storyteller and you can help bring those stories alive for them. Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. That's uplifting.
Good. So Larissa, can you unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the life shifts you've done?
Hi, Cindy.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Larissa. I'm based in Whistler, British Columbia, and I work for Whistler Blackcomb and Vail Resorts.
Oh, Vail, we know Vail. That's our client.
Yes, I've done many of your sessions before. You're a bit of a legend with our team.
Oh,
so everyone was jealous that I was participating in this today.
Oh, good.
So obviously I work at a ski destination where everything came to a halt in March, and we've definitely been shifting the way that business has been conducted throughout our various resorts. And we've had some reductions in our sales team, which has opened up. It was a challenging time, but it's been really a unique opportunity for myself and other people on our teams to learn about some of the other resorts that we sell when typically we sell one. So I think kind of celebrating change in the little ways is recognizing those opportunities of the learnings that I've had and the experiences that I've had since this, and taking that away. And it was funny that you mentioned the brainstorming together over video, because we actually did that with some of our vendors the other week, and it was probably one of the most successful conversations we've had in a while, with very unique, challenging situations. So it's really cool to kind of see that in play, and it's been very effective to stay connected that way. So,
and you did it like this, kind of over a call like
Yeah.
this. Yeah, it's the one thing. Nothing good to me is about COVID. Don't even think that. But the one thing good that came out of this is this, and us being able to talk like this, because in the past, we just would have done a conference call, or you would have brought people into a meeting and they would have sat around tables, and then they're on their phones and just doing a lot of different things. So one thing, Larissa, in a ski destination, outdoors, and you know, where everybody wants to be, is that, do you handle the meetings, mice market or leisure?
I handle the mice market.
Okay, so one of the things you can do is help your customers. And right now, depending on how you're open, because I know Canada is different than we are in the States, right? What you can do is have some very small meetings. And I look at them like a small focus group. So, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 people on one of these calls, and talk about how we're going to be able to do hybrid meetings, how we're going to be able to do small meetings, and really give them some solid takeaways. Don't wait till like everything's open. Have some of those solutions. I call those value propositions for our clients. So to be able to actually say, here's what we're doing. So if you bring 30 people in, we can then, you know, literally live stream and do some really effective, fun things with PSAV, with all the different, you know, teams that we have on board. But as a salesperson, we historically, as you know, Larissa, we didn't know all that detail, because it's like, let conference services or event planning deal with it, right? So now we want to, in sales, know what those answers are, because it will make a bigger difference. So just think about doing, you might have already started some of those focus groups.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's super helpful. And I find that's definitely what people are looking for these days. They don't want the hypothetical. They want to get into the nitty gritty and just talk through scenarios, and know that you're working to ensure the safety of their guests and bringing them back. And I think supporting partners as well is what you can do. So,
and I think the other thing is looking at incentives for corporate. Even if you don't handle the incentive market, you talk to your directors and you get everybody on the same page, because in the corporate world, they may be sending 2 people at a time, husband and wife, partners, maybe a family of 4. And we need to be clever and go to market with that as well, and say, here's what we can provide for you. And we've already put it together, and it's the Vail fabulousness, you know what I mean? And Vail Resorts, and you do it individually so that it makes a difference. So you're not waiting. All right, let me go ahead and ask Judy, can you come off your video and talk to us, and off mute for a moment?
I will get off mute, but I'm the one having trouble with my.
Oh, you are. That's okay, Judy. That's correct. I remember.
I apologize for that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I've actually been off work since April 1st. So to stay connected, I've been participating in any webinar I can find that has anything to do with what I do for a living.
What do you do, Judy?
I am on the supplier side. I work for a company called Discover the World, which is a sales outsourcing company. And I'm the team member that is the national sales manager for Caesars Entertainment in Canada.
Oh, fab.
So, yeah, so I've been off for quite a while, starting to work a few hours here and there. But anyway, I've been participating in webinars, trying to keep myself educated. Any news I see about Caesars, I make sure I share it with our internal team. And even though I'm not working with key people that I work with as external clients, and setting little small goals for myself, read 6 books in a month, do the Learn to Run program, different things like that, just to keep myself going.
So Judy, so is it Caesars, like Vegas Caesars?
Yes.
Okay. And do you book leisure or mice group? What?
Yeah, I actually work on both sides of the business. So, and our properties have reopened. It's just with us being at a marketing firm, we're just one step removed. So just waiting to restart. from our
So do
side.
you have Caesar's hotels and things in Canada?
There is Caesar's Windsor, but I don't represent them.
So you're just doing Vegas?
Just all of the USA.
USA, we're all the Caesars. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a couple really, because as you know, and well, because that's who you know, Vegas has opened, right, to about 1,000 people per event, things like that. Casinos are open, and we have lots of our customers are, in Vegas, are the big hotel companies. A couple things. How active are you on LinkedIn?
Getting more active through COVID.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I would like to do, and please add me, reach out. I'm just Cindy Novotny. I'm Cindy Novotny on everything. Instagram. I was such an early adapter. It's really my name. It's so easy to find me. Cindy Novotny. It's _ for Instagram, but definitely on LinkedIn. Add me and let me help you build, because I have huge following. But I want to give you just a couple tips, and every tip I'm giving to every one of you about life shifts is applicable to all of you. I'm just using what I use with Deb on being a freelancer, goes over to what, Larissa can do, and now with Judy. But what I would like you to do is I would like you to start looking at all the articles, because the Vegas CVB, and I just did a 1-hour webinar with the Las Vegas Concierge Association as well. And they're now following me, and there's a ton of great articles. And they're not all about Caesars, but it doesn't matter, because what you can do is take some of those articles, share them, but more importantly, read them. And then it'll give you an idea, and it'll give you an idea to write something about, the pillars of Caesars, what Caesars is about, how we do it better, all the different things. It is all about engagement, especially in the meeting side. There's more people on LinkedIn than ever before. The other thing I would do, as I suggested to Larissa, I would reach out to some of your best customers that you worked with when life was good in 2019 and the 2 months we had at the beginning of 2020.
Mhm.
And I would ask to do small focus groups with them, not big stuff. And I would ask them, let's talk about the events you did. Let's talk about how we can do it differently. What is it going to take for you to feel comfortable when the borders open, of course, to go back to Vegas and to Caesars? Then, as I shared about, I talked about, planning, the anticipation, the actual trip, and then memories. Ask them to share some of their best pictures, and then you have some pictures from your marketing team that you probably already have, that will show Caesars today. Some of the social distancing, how our gaming tables are set up, how our restaurants are set up. So it's not just a total sales pitch, but you're doing it. And that's what Deb Robert asked about, is changing the vernacular a little bit so that you've got some better talking points. Because when you ask them, they will give you things that will allow you to jump on it. And that's what really makes a huge difference. So hopefully those are just a few ideas that will help you as we go through this. We've got a few minutes here. Is it Brigitte or Bridget? Brigitte or Bridget? Can you unmute and come on camera? Or not?
No.
She might have stepped away for a moment. These things do happen. Let's go to Lindsay Mccauley. How about you?
So I'm actually a student. I'm at Durham College. So Liz Holtby is one of my professors. So she was very big on getting as many of us to try to attend, just try to learn some stuff in that. So I'm in the first year event planning program at Durham.
You're our future, Lindsay.
I mean, someone's got to be the future.
Someone's got to be the future. I'll still be around with you, though, to be a good mentor. Okay,
All
so
right.
yeah. So how did you choose event planning, Lindsay?
Well, actually, so I have my diploma in early childhood education.
Oh.
Went and lived in Denmark for about a year working as an au pair, so kind of like a nanny.
Yeah.
And then when I came home, I had still planned on traveling and doing that kind of work. And my sister got engaged, and I wanted to be home for all of the fun festivities and that. And we did a lot of the planning of her wedding, her reception and that, as a family and that. And I was like, you know what? This is something I'm really good at. And maybe I can, make a career of this. And I was kind of not loving the ECE scene
Early child
anymore. It's
development.
very much, yeah, it's very much a field where you have to have a personal philosophy that matches the center's philosophy, and there's so much variation
I
in
can
the
see that.
different centers' philosophies.
So here's a couple things. So I have been doing this a very long time, had my own event planning company and now my own company in this. There's a couple things I really want you to focus on while you're going back to get this degree. And one is business development. I can help you, by the way, introduce you. And if you want to do any interning with some of the best wedding and event planners in the country, including in Canada, I will introduce you to those people. But what I want you to really focus on while you're going to school is business development, because here's what happens. People get into event planning and they just think it's all going to flow. And Larissa is going to tell you that, and Judy, it doesn't all flow. Isn't that right, ladies? Like you think like, oh my goodness. So one of the things I tell when I speak at any university, I'm always telling people, even if you're a chef and you want your own restaurant, you must learn business development. And when you do that, you have the ability to either be on your own and start your own company. Probably for you, the best thing will be is to go to work at a wonderful, fine hotel where you can actually do some of that. The fact that you love travel, I think is magnificent, because I love it too. And if it's in your blood and you love it, you don't want to lose that. And so you can do a lot of destination weddings. Okay. I mean, post-COVID and all. And don't worry, there will be international travel. I have 2 passports and they look at me. I carry them with me to this day. And my husband said to me, why do you carry both passports? Somebody might open a country and I could fly there like on a dime, right? Yes.
Hi, Cindy. I'm sorry. I'm being told that the general session will start at 3:20, so we're going to have to wrap up.
Oh, Lindsay, I was giving you all my good advice.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
that's
Cindy.
okay. So that's
it's all
right.
good.
It's all good. So when life, and you're a perfect example that life has shifted. And when it shifted, you took a different path. And that path is going to be brilliant for you. But remember, build it and they will come doesn't happen anymore. So just think about me in the back of your head going, business development. And with that, everyone, I honestly want to say that I love this small group. I love this little dialogue den, because I've always believed, and I grew up sailing the Great Lakes into Canada, I might add, that I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. So good luck to all of you. I am the closing speaker, so you will see me at that time. So thank you very much. See you in the
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
Cindy.
much.